Hey guys, welcome to Outdoor Photo. Thank you very much for joining us today. In studio, I have Stephan and Anton. You guys have come in to discuss the Firefinch app that you guys are currently working on and how that extends into the birding community and also has a far reach, I believe, into bird photography as well. So I think it's a great conversation. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a while now, and I'm glad to have you guys here. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Gunther.
Thanks. To start off with, where did the interest in birding start for you guys?
So for me, it was still in primary school days. Started in 1993 at a place where my dad used to work. In northern Natal, the place was Mziki Safari Lodge. And we went there for December holidays, and there was we had a trip to Ndumu Game Reserve from that place, and we came across a sooty falcon, and that was my trigger bird that triggered me into birding in 1993. And then we just went obsessional from there.
Like most passions do.
Yes.
But so your dad was involved in birding?
No, not at all. So actually his best friend he was a civil engineer. Doing all the dams on the new farm development. It's now part of Pindag Private Game Reserve.
Oh wow!
So it was more in the civil engineering side, but I had no intention of going to the civil engineering side of things. So the birding stuck, and some lovely memories from there. And interesting, Fansie, with who we did this app, is the famous ornithologist / illustrator who brings out all the bird books, and he's also a partner in Firefinch. His birding journey also started on that farm where his father did the town planning of the reserve.
Oh, wow.
So our birding journey started at the same place a few years apart, and now almost 40 years later we joined in producing this app.
That's wonderful. I mean, this app is a great thing, and I want to dive into a lot of the details in the app as well. So looking at the app and how it evolved from photography into this that's actually blossomed now. How did you go from A to B? How did you go from the photography is great, but what can we do with this?
Yeah, so I've been in this bird photography journey for 15 odd years. And you build up the big library of photos, and you try and capture all the bird species. So in the end, you sit with this whole library of photos, but you're the only guy who sees it, and it doesn't really add value to the world outside.
Yeah, it
so
kind of just dies on a hard drive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of value in that. But then I decided, no, let me start a website, just for fun, like an online library. And then me and Stephan actually did a park run together.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, you asked me, do I have any tips on how to run this website? This is what he wants to do. I didn't really understand, like, what does he want to do except just put it all in a gallery, in a sense.
Yeah, so that was the first step, is just getting it on a website. But there's not a lot of people going onto that website, so still not a lot of value creation. But I had a contact with Fansie in the birding world, and now I had the contact with Stephan as a software developer, and he also started developing an app, which went a bit south, but he gained the experience of developing his own app. The funder, unfortunately, it pulled out.
It didn't go south. He just figured out how it's not supposed to be.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Experience.
You don't need a funder. So with his expertise, and his brother is a high-level graphic designer, big corporate jobs, and so we decided, no, let's take this gallery and build Fansie a prototype of what we think an app could be, with his illustrations, his knowledge, but my photos, Ebbie's graphic design background, and Stephan's very good skills. So then we decided to send it through to Fansie, our idea and prototype. And Stephan, you always tell the story so nice.
Yeah, if I can ask you, I mean, are you involved in birding prior to this?
No. I would label myself as a non-birder before this experience. I just want to add that Anton really has a heart for people, and he didn't just see this as an opportunity for himself to put his photos out there. He also saw this as an opportunity to help friends and to do something great with friends and make an impact in the world. And I think that's what sold it to me, because he pitched to me and I said, well, I'll do it if I can bring my brother along. And then we did the pitch to Fansie, and then Fansie replied with a multi-page PDF with all his ideas of what this app can be and where it can go, and we took that as a yes, because you could just see like the effort that he put into that PDF. I think was far and beyond what we put into the original pitch. It was literally pages and pages of writing and ideas and things that it felt like he was sitting on that PDF for years, just
waiting for some poor developer kind of, can we do an app?
Yeah, and he actually says that he received a lot of pitches before, because if you just look at Fansie's work, it almost asks for a platform like this to get out there and be accessible to people, and he's had a few pitches, and he said that due to the effort that we put in, just showed him that we want to put skin in the game, and I'm really appreciative of that, and also we all four really aligned on how we wanted to approach this business, doing it in a very sustainable manner. From the beginning, we knew that it's going to take a lot, because my brother and I, we have full-time jobs, like corporate 8 to 5 kind of jobs. But from the beginning, we said we need to have sustainable finances. We're not going to borrow a lot of money from someone else and see where it goes. We want sustainable relationships, not just between us, but also with our families. So we're going to sacrifice time, but we're still going to make sure that we get healthier financially, relationally, throughout this experience.
Yeah, it's got to be a growth process.
Exactly. Yeah. And you never know how long it will take. Our original estimate was a year that we promised our wives. It was 3.5 years down the road when we first launched our first version. So
well, that's what I wanted to add is we've got an Afrikaans saying with Graham. He's left the company and the country now, but we used to have a saying that net gou. I can't net gou, and then that net gou usually turns into a day or a week or 2 years, or in this case 3 years.
Exactly.
So I can imagine that. With the development process, how many times did you guys kind of think, hold on, let's scrap this and start over? Or was it a positive growing experience?
Yeah, we actually pivoted our just the basic design 3 or 4 times in the process, and so you get to a point where you just realize like this is not gonna serve the purpose of what we want to achieve, and Anton pushed Ebbie, because Ebbie is a user experience designer, so he really understands the value of making things accessible to users. And Anton also said it has to be like you said, with 3 clicks you have to get anywhere in the app.
The Steve Jobs approach.
Exactly. And we achieved that, and I think that made so much of a difference, like the accessibility of things in the app.
So opening up the app and looking at the illustrations that are on the app, don't look at my numbers here. It's rookie numbers here. But looking at the illustrations, I mean, the first time that we had this discussion in the shop and we were discussing the app and what you guys have been working on, and I started showing it to some of the other guys, and obviously Alroy being one of the biggest birders in the shop, I showed it to him, and one of the first things he said is, but I think he prefers the photos. And I pointed out to him the photos. So all the photos are still there. you've got these beautiful little annotations connected to it. So, and that helped me quite a lot. Again, being a rookie, going out to Tiger Canyon and having found a Koran, if I can just find it here, didn't have an idea if it was the northern black Koran or the southern black Koran, because they both look like big turkeys to me. So it, and swinging from side to side, off the bat I couldn't see, but because I had the image taken, I could go and identify in the tip of the wings that it's a northern black Koran. And all these little annotations and the details that's there and where you can find the birds and everything. I mean, how long did it take to just get this simple page to the point where you guys were happy with it?
Well, what I can say is there's about 1,000 birds in the app, and each of these, what we call plates, so that's the layout of the illustration with all the annotations on that. Each of those takes Fansie about a day and a half to complete. So that's why we launched 3.5 years
later.
And so Fansie already had a lot of illustrations from his kids book, but the other approach that we decided on taking with this app was a quality first approach. We wanted to make sure that we deliver quality and that people buy into this because of the quality. So we made a decision, we've made a few decisions like that we're going to take longer, 2.5 years longer than we would have if he used the book illustrations, but he's going to re-illustrate everything because he's gotten so much better at illustration. Yeah, so getting to this exact layout, we also went through a lot of iterations because we had to find the exact size of these plates on the screen layout with the different size phones, etc. And Fansie could only really start laying the things out once we had that size, because if he did 500 and he did it wrong, decided on a different
500
size.
that has to be
500
redone.
that needs to be redone. And that's also the thing with the amount of content on the app. When we decided, okay, we're going to add a distribution map. It's a distribution map for 1,000 species that has to be hand-drawn. When we decided, okay, we're going to add annotations on the photos, it's 1,000 species that has about, on average, 5 photos per species. Then we have to go and add annotations on the photos.
And all of this because you had photographs on your hard drive.
Exactly.
Talk about scope creep.
But on that photos, it's not just my hard drive. The birders out there, the whole community, so they are so willing to contribute to this project. There's loads of birders that contributed photos for this, and it also gives value to them. And this morning I had a lady emailing me. She's had some nice photos of whiteback duck. She would like to get them added to the app. So we will add her photos to the app as well.
That's awesome.
So it's a whole community thing. It's not just my photos on my hard drive. That's where it started. But it's a whole community getting involved now and growing and feeling part of this project. It's not just a corporate thing. It's a family and community that we're trying to build here.
For the love of birding.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Making birding fun and accessible and easier for everybody.
There's so many, so on the community thing, it's not just the photos, the sounds, of course, we've sourced from many different countries, not just bordering countries, also from Europe with the migrant species. There's also people from the community that's like long-term borrowing their phones for us to test the app on. We've got people like that we didn't even know. We just said, hey, if someone has a phone, we would love to be able to test it on different phones. And next thing you know, here's a random guy borrowing his phone for us. So it's really like a community thing. And we also try to invest in the community. One thing we do is for new subscribers, they get an invite to an exclusive webinar with the team. So if you subscribe, then you get an email that says, do you want to join us? And then about a month later, we have these intimate chats with new users to hear their experience of the app and how we can improve it.
That's awesome. Again, the community around it and the excitement that it creates. My experience started with birding in Tiger Canyon with Roger from Canon, and one of the guides there, AD Stander. He's on Instagram as the Barefoot Birder. The passion those two guys, I mean, I was in the car going, there's a tiger, and they're going, yeah, but there's a African rock puppet. I know a name. And just the enjoyment and everything. And my wife and I turned to one another and said, we're missing out on a lot that's happening. So eventually when you came to see me, and thank you again so much for introducing me to what you guys are busy with, the experience that I took home and sharing this with my youngest, he's 7, he's a little hurricane, but we sat down on the veranda the one morning and had a look in the garden, what birds are there, and just going through the pictures. And he immediately, because it's an illustration instead of a photograph, it also draws their attention a lot more. And I could relate to that and how that changed his outlook towards the birding side of things. So we get back from another trip and we took a photograph of a bird, and he'll immediately ask me, did you mark it? Did you mark it? Can we mark it? And we'll go through the app, find the bird, and then he'll mark it.
Yes.
So it's immediately, it's prickled an interest with a much younger person as well. So it just keeps on giving and giving and giving.
That's what you said, it prickles, just like the thing that we are trying to do with Firefinch is to inspire curiosity. That's like, if you have to give it 2 words, that's the 2 words: inspiring curiosity. And my own curiosity has been inspired by this experience. So I had I just went through the app. So Fansie says, if you're a new birder, one of the good ideas is just to scroll through the app. And as I scrolled through the app, I saw this annotation on the black-collared barbet that says, the familiar call of this barbet is actually an impeccable timed duet between the sexes. I was like, what the hell does that mean? And then I thought, okay, so there's a call, so let me play the sound and hear what it's like. So it says here on the sonogram, so this visual representation of the sound is what we call a sonogram. And on there it says, then a duet so perfectly timed that it sounds like a single bird. One bird calls to, the other one calls puddle. So it's like two puddle, two puddle. So armed with this information in the back of my head, I was like, yeah, this is so super cool. And then I went for a jog in the streets of Pretoria. And I heard this sound. And I was like, I need to see this. And as I went around the corner, lo and behold, there they were sitting on the telephone wire, calling. The one said like goes to, the other one goes puddle. It was just amazing, and that's really so. My curiosity was inspired through just the content of the app. It helped me almost prime me to find the wonders out there.
And that again adds onto it. If we really want to get our kids involved in things like this, rather than Ben 10 or whatever is the latest cartoon doing the rounds on TV, these things just fuel it. If you can start pointing these things out, you all of a sudden have more information at your fingertips that are useful, and you're getting people outside and in adventurous situations. I think it's incredible.
That's wonderful for me as a birder, long-time birder, watching you two guys that's not into birding or weren't into birding talk so passionately about birds. So it's unbelievable for me to witness, and I think that just shows how easy and how much fun it can bring to you.
Yeah.
If non-birders get so passionate about it.
It just adds onto a trip. I mean, wherever you go, whatever you're doing, it just adds an extra aspect onto it. You know, even if we're going to Dikalolo for a weekend, all of a sudden the birds now matter. They're not just something that's going to come and steal your chips. It's
Yes.
What has been one of the toughest ones to bridge over? What was one of the biggest hurdles that you found with this app?
Quick answer is marketing. So in the IT industry, in the app industry, like every second person has an idea for it. Until they hear what it costs, and then you lose about 80% of the people. And to find like a very important thing to make something like an app successful is to find a good team. And I really feel like we have the perfect team. We have the businessman and the photographer. We have the illustrator and the expert, like the expert. And we have a user experience designer that can code. We have a architect, software architect and developer that can understand business. So we're really like an excellent team, but we don't have a marketer. So we've really like, we're learning marketing together.
Well, I've been trying to promote this app in as many directions as possible, purely because it's brought so much fun and enjoyment around birding to myself and my family. I think one of the things that was fascinating is looking at what it costs and everything. And that's on your business side. I'm not going to get involved in that. But one of the people that I recommended it to said that it's pretty much the same price as the Sassel or the Robertson's book. And yet they still used it, and they came back and they said, way better. They absolutely loved the app and how the layout, the audio, the annotations, the stories, everything about it just worked so much better for them than the other two. But it's difficult when you've got competition already out on the market. And now you're trying to bring out something else and be better.
And and I think that's also one of our biggest challenges. Is I realized like it's not as if people go to let's say they come to Outdoorphoto, and it's not as if they're going to buy their first camera. They already have 2 or 3 cameras, so they're going to buy a 4th. So we need to stand out so much that they are willing to buy this one, even though they already have that.
Yes.
And also, and I don't know if you want to talk about the subscription model, but for us, it's very important with a quality approach and keeping connection with our community. We want to continually improve the app. We don't just want to drop something on you and then that's what you have. Okay, and unfortunately, the birding app industry in South Africa is very much a publisher. Like as you publish books, they are used because in the past it's normally the book publishers that also brought out the apps.
Yes.
So they would bring out an app with a book and then only bring out an update with a new book. Okay, so people were used to, and the market is used to buying
a new book,
like a one thing. But we need to work with the market for them to also realize the extra value that we are bringing. Constant growth, constant updates. I think since we launched, and it's not even a year now, we've added 5 species to the app because of like one species splitting or other species losing their GPS and landing somewhere on South Africa's soil. But
that's similar to that. Sorry, this is just a birding experience that I enjoyed in the shop. There was some gespikkelde dam chicken that landed here in midstream somewhere. And everybody went out and rushed out to go and photograph this little thing in the reeds.
Yeah.
And that again just adds to the whole community. But I take it that thing's GPS was also lost.
Yeah, exactly. And that's value that we bring and want to continue to bring. And the quality of articles that Fansie also puts out, around about 2 a week, is really like totally next level. And that continuous value and relationship with our users is what we want to build. That's why we have a subscription model. That's why we will continue to update it with the latest birds. If it lands, then around about a week after that, you will have that bird on your phone.
Okay, so let's touch on that for a second. And we're trying to record our screens here just to kind of give you guys at home an idea of what's happening. So we go to the home page, and it's not just birds. That was the big thing that you also told me about this app, is that you've got your lists, which you guys have added now, which is pretty cool. Don't look at my numbers. This is embarrassing. It's the rookie numbers.
I also have rookie numbers, don't worry.
But if you're going to the front page and you've got your Dawn Chorus and you go into that section, there you've got all your articles, you've got blog posts, you've got a variety of stuff and new information that you keep on adding to the group.
Then also something that's also, so Fansie talks about having this wealth of information hidden in plain sight. So, you know, even on the plates, it doesn't feel like you go through so much information because it's very contextual. So if you don't read through everything like it's a paragraph. You look at the wing, then you read the annotation for the wing. You look at
quick notes,
very quick notes. But then, so what's also hidden in plain sight is that there's these different groups, and for each group there's quite a detailed explanation of what that group entails. So when you open the group, there's that learn more button, and between the groups, learn more, and then also per family. So next to owls, there's a learn more. Nightjars, there's a learn more. All this text is worth a book. So it's 72 pages of excellent writing by Fansie. Lots of hidden funnies and things. You know, he really has quite
like
a few.
Like Fansie does.
Exactly. Those Easter eggs that he hides everywhere. That's also hidden in plain sight. And then my favorite feature is the sound feature, and like all these annotations that he adds. There's also quite a few of his personal experiences that he documents on these, on the sonograms.
So ironically that you went to the barn owl. What's wrong with that bird? Why does it sound like that?
That's what nightmares are made of.
Let's be honest. If I hear that in the middle of the night, I'm running through whatever forest there is. That's Blair Witch stuff there. It's horrible. But yeah, the amount of information that you guys have managed to pack into a little app like this, little with respect, and how easy it is to navigate through it. Some of it you can get lost. I mean, I've every now and again I realize, hold on, if I press over here, then it's going to bring that up. If I go through here, if I end up on the plate, or if I go through to my life list or a specific trips list, if I tap on the ostrich, it's going to show me the sighting. But if I tap on the picture on the side, it actually takes me to the plate where all the information is loaded. I mean, that's probably where we give credit to Ebbie. If I've got it right, that's Ebbie. Part of that. Just, it's a perfect team. You guys really have put a perfect team together, and I hope that something like this promotes the app, because I do believe this is an easy way to get the rest of the family involved. We did one of the tests with Michelle and her family when they went to the Kalahari. As a family, they love going there, and they started using the app and putting it into the hands of her father, as an example, who doesn't use apps, and he found it super easy to navigate. So all of a sudden, you've got another person interested in this that usually isn't, because it's complicated. So I have to say, well done, guys. I'm super impressed. And guys, Anton, thank you very much for coming out. Stephan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
It's been great having you guys here, and I look forward to this.
Thanks for your effort.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cheers.